did you make political pressures to change some of the laws or regulations? Because it seems to fight a lot for social justice. And coming from Montreal, the thing that strikes me the most important is the housing problem, and that there's no regulation on rents. And for me, it's like, it's impossible that a landlord can hire a rent of $1,000 in a month. Like, it blows my mind. And I was wondering if you guys are making pressure to change those laws or
Sure.
to mobilize the community against that, because that's one of the biggest issues. If you don't have your home secure, you can have food, but it's the main important is your home.
Yeah, so maybe that'll be a segue to the broader picture here. So Living Cully is really an integrated approach toward building wealth, addressing disparities and access to the built environment, high quality built environment, and access to good paying jobs. And so there's both projects specific, so things like building Cully Park, building affordable housing in the neighborhood. We have around 200 units of affordable housing in production right now. But it's also policies. So one of our key policy initiatives is to preserve affordability both in the neighborhood here, but also citywide. And we don't have rent control in Portland. We don't have inclusionary zoning in the state of Oregon. Two key policy tools that enable...
Inclusionary zoning?
Inclusionary zoning is only illegal in 2 states, Oregon and Texas. We join our illustrious colleagues in Texas in that. I mean, in many ways, Oregon is a very backwater state. You have to realize people didn't want to live in the state for a long time. I mean, 20 years ago, you didn't have people coming to Oregon. People were, just leaving or not doing anything. So inclusionary zoning is a policy that requires development to have affordable housing built into it. That's just a very simplified version of it. There's a little bit more complexity in terms of the implementation of it at the city level. Cities have the opportunity to create regulations that implement an inclusionary zoning policy. So without that, without rent control, what you see is spiraling rents and spiraling upward home property values. We certainly aren't at the place of San Francisco yet, and it may take a few years to get there still, but that's the trajectory we're on of extremely high rents and property values in the central city, and as you go out, lower costs. And as you go out, longer commute, poor access to transit, poor access to parks, all that stuff. So our strategy has been to both do the projects on the ground here in a neighborhood that is relatively close in. Even though it took you probably 20 minutes to get here from PSU, this is considered a relatively close-in neighborhood. It's before you get to the I-205 ring. 82nd Avenue has generally been considered the dividing line for Central and East Portland, in Portland for a long time, with less services east of the freeway and east of 82nd Avenue, and higher quality services in here, closer in. Cully is sort of the last neighborhood that hasn't experienced large-scale displacement of low-income people and people of color to date. And so we're kind of drawing a line in the sand and said, we're going to prevent displacement from happening here.